Colin Cowherd from the Colin Cowherd podcast talked about Baker Mayfield and his performance against the Vikings.
I also want to touch on the Cleveland Browns' win over the Minnesota Vikings. And a lot of people on social media, Colin, you got to bury Baker Mayfield. He was terrible. Yes, he was. But the two things to remember, for the Cleveland Brown organization to go on the road, beat a pretty talented team, Minnesota, in a tough place to play, when your quarterback is god-awful, that is a stepping stone for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, my takeaway was, yeah, that's what good teams do. Their quarterback stinks, they play poorly, and they beat a pretty talented team on the road. That's a great stepping stone. Listen, I'm not going to beat up on Baker Mayfield for having a bad game. Everybody has a bad game. Aaron Rodgers, week 1. Josh Allen, week 1. Tom Brady, 4 of them last year. I've never put Baker Mayfield in the top 10 class. So I'm not holding him to this great 16-week, one bad week performance. He was awful. He was skittish. He's starting to sail things now. He was high on a lot of his throws. And I've said this before, he and OBJ, it just, he and Jarvis Landry work. He and OBJ don't. I can't figure it out. It just doesn't work.
Let's bring Tim Bielik back in. And Tim, I don't often agree with Colin Cowherd, but I get his point there. The other thing is Baker Mayfield's going to need to win some games for the Browns this year. There's going to come a game where he has to, and there's going to be multiple games. I still think he's going to be able to throw for 300 yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns when he needs to. The one thing he didn't do against the Vikings, he did not turn the ball over. That's when you get into problems. That's when you are a detriment to your team as opposed to just not helping them. Baker Mayfield didn't help the offense. He didn't hurt it either.
Right, yeah. I mean, when I look at that game, that was kind of the one thing that kind of keeps it from being an F grade in my mind is that he does not turn the football over. It might have been it was probably one of his worst games, if not the worst game he's had with the Browns when it comes to quarterback rating and completion percentage. But again, the point, he did not turn the football over. And this is a 14-7 game. So obviously turnover margin was significant. And the thing we're forgetting with Baker is, if he hits that pass to Odell Beckham Jr. for a 62-yard touchdown in the final minute 13 of that game, we're talking about something completely different, in this whole thing. We're talking about, Baker, he had a bad game, but on his last throw, man, he hit a dart to put the game away, to put the dagger in an opponent, and he and Odell looked good again. That didn't happen. And I think that was just a microcosm of kind of what I thought about it. I think he was just off. Colin said it best. It happens to guys. You're not going to play amazing for 17 games. These guys are human. They're going to have a game once in a while where they're just off for whatever reason. It could be just any little thing where you just miss guys for whatever reason. It doesn't even have to be physical. Everything could be right. You could just be missing a little bit. And that's kind of all I think Sunday was. And I mean, if he goes out and doesn't play well against the Chargers and the Cardinals, then I think he could start to worry a little bit. But I just look at it as a pure anomaly.